This email marketing strategy is probably the most simple one that I have ever used. It's the most effective, it's by far the easiest to set up for the ROI that you're gonna get, and the emails that I'm going to show you have generated up to 20% conversion rates for several of our clients. So now today, I'm going to give you every step I use to set this up for 7, 8, and even 9-figure e-commerce brands, and give you a framework that you can use to immediately implement for yourself. If you're trying to grow your e-commerce brand, I can fairly confidently assume that you're running meta ads to your website. If you're running meta ads to your website, I can also confidently predict that if you had unlimited money for your customer acquisition cost, you could up your budget exponentially and you would then blow up your e-commerce brand. Unfortunately, you probably don't have unlimited budget. So what you really need to do with your existing budget is get the most bang for your buck for every dollar that you put into your ads. You need your ad dollars to go as far as possible in order to acquire as many new customers as possible, as cost efficiently as possible. So that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. So I want to show you 2 examples of e-commerce brands right now and what the prospect to first purchase journey actually looks like. You don't have these metrics available to you in Klaviyo or your other ESP. And the truth is they're really important to understand in order for you to make sure you're converting as many new customers as possible. Everyone wants to talk about how you need a big email list, you need to grow your email list, and all of that is true. But here's what no one talks about. A big email list is worthless if people who come onto your list aren't buying. And the problem is a lot of brand owners and marketers just assume that if they're growing their list, people are going to be buying. And that's unfortunately just not true. So let me show you an example of a brand that this is not the case for. This brand that we're looking at right here, we can see the amount of conversion by days from subscription. For every brand in the world, day 0, which is the day that someone signs up for your email list, most likely from a pop-up form, is going to be the day with the most conversions by far. And then what's going to happen for almost every single e-commerce brand is every day that follows, the amount of conversions per day is going to drop steadily. So the reason why this happens is because people are likely to convert when they first discover your brand, if they realize that you solve the problem that they have. And every day that goes on after that, they're looking at your competitors, they're wondering if they really need the product. All of this ladders up to lower conversion rates each day following the day that they sign up. So that's exactly what we see in this example. On day 0, we can see that there are a ton of conversions coming from new subscribers. And then if we hide day 0 here, what we're going to see is just one day after someone subscribes, you can see that the amount of conversions goes from basically 1,300 to just 27. Massive, massive drop off here. And this just continues on to day 2 when there's only 14, day 3, there's 9. Now, if you want to blow up your e-commerce brand, you need to be converting these subscribers that are coming onto your list. Now, let me show you another example of a brand that looks similar at the start. So day 0, by far the most amount of conversions. But then if we hide day 0 and look at the next 30 days over here, we can see they're faring much better on day 1, day 2, day 3. And not only that, they're actually seeing more conversions on day 4 over here than they are on day 2 and day 3, which is very, very unlikely. And then furthermore, if we look at the other brand, you can see that after day 10, there's actually a lot of days that either have 1 purchase or 0 purchases at all. Whereas if we look at our good example over here, we can see that really steadily over day 10, every single day there's conversions for the most part, and there's a steady flow of conversions. So this is what a healthy prospect to first-time purchase funnel looks like, where you can really maximize your ad dollars and reduce your customer acquisition costs by making sure that people who are coming onto your list are actually buying. So let me show you exactly how they're able to do this so that you can do this too. The way you are going to do this is with a window shopper flow. So what is a window shopper flow? The fact of the matter is 99% of brands completely ignore their highest intent prospects. So if you just think about how you shop and about how your customers shop, it's very rare that you're going to land on a website and just purchase right away. What ends up happening is you find something you like, maybe you add it to cart, and then you come back to the website a few times if you're interested before you actually make the decision to convert. So most brands have a welcome series in place, they have an abandoned cart flow in place, but they don't have any mechanism or framework in place in order to identify who these people are who are high intent, who are coming back to the site, looking at products, but not pulling the trigger, and then being able to actually get them over the edge to convert. Now, in order to have a high converting window shopper flow, there are a few prerequisites that you need to have to make this happen. So prerequisite number 1, you need a high converting pop-up form. The only way that you're going to be able to identify subscribers who are coming back to the site to shop is if you got their email address the first time that they were on your site. So if you use Klaviyo forms, you'll see that they say, I think anything above a 3% opt-in rate is a good conversion rate. That's just not true. Every single client we work with has a conversion rate above 7%. by the time we're done running our initial A/B test. And really what we aim for at my agency is over 10% opt-in rates from all of our clients. So what that means is over 10% of the site traffic that you're driving to your website with ads are going to convert into email subscribers and hopefully SMS subscribers too. Now, once you have a high converting pop-up form in place, the next thing that you need is a really strong welcome series. So a really strong welcome series is going to educate your subscribers that have just joined your list into understanding why they should be purchasing from your brand, what makes your products unique and special, and how your products are going to solve the problem that they have. It's also going to explain to them why they need to be shopping with your brand and not your competitors. And then finally, you need a strong abandoned cart flow in place in order to just efficiently convert people who are abandoning their carts before they actually make it into our window shopper flow. Now, for any subscribers who make it through your welcome series and your abandoned cart flow and don't convert, this is who your window shopper flow is going to target in order to drive those early conversions. First thing we have to do is recognize this subscriber is active on site. The next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to set these profile filters to say that this person has been active on site at least 3 times in the last 10 days. Now, this can be different for every single brand. So you might want to set this to 2 times in 4 days, 2 times in 7 days. If you want to be aggressive, you can set it to 3 times in 30 days. This really does depend on your typical shopper behavior on your website with your customer demo, but 3 in the last 10 days or 2 in the last 10 days, if you want to be more aggressive to drive more conversions, is a good start. Next, we're going to say, and has placed an order 0 times over all time. All we're trying to do is get this offer, which we're going to talk about in a second, in the hands of prospects to drive a first time conversion. Next, we're going to say, and they've added to cart 0 times since starting this flow, and they've started checkout 0 times since starting this flow, and they have not been in this flow at any time. So we want to make sure that people who are going through this flow are not also going to be in a abandoned cart flow at the same time. And then we also want to make sure that anyone who's going through this flow is only going through it once, because we're going to be giving them a generous offer here to drive that first time conversion. And we don't want to get used to them thinking that this is going to happen every time they come to the website. The first email in your window shopper flow is what we call the serendipitous offer. So if you think about this customer who signed up to your list and has come back to the site at least 3 times in 10 days, they've now left the site for the 3rd time in 10 days. So they were browsing, they didn't add anything to cart, they didn't start a checkout. And as soon as they leave that 3rd site session, they're going to get an email right away that shares a 24-hour flash sale with them. So in their eyes, like, this is perfect timing. They've been thinking about buying, they haven't pulled the trigger. And what we know is that the initial offer in your welcome series and your pop-up form hasn't been good enough to convert them. So if your initial offer to get them to sign up for your list is 10% off their first order, they haven't purchased yet. If we can give them a 15% offer for a limited time of 24 hours only, this can do so much to just get them over the hump in understanding that I want this product. And now there's urgency involved to take advantage of this extra incentive for only 24 hours. So this has to be timed right after they leave the website. And we want to make sure that we're positioning this limited offer as clearly as possible. Typically what performs really well is just 5% in addition to that welcome offer. And in both the subject line and the email content, you're going to want to let them know that this offer expires in 24 hours. Now, this first email can have conversion rates as high as 20%. We've seen this across several clients, but if someone doesn't purchase after that first email, we want to put a strategic 21-hour time delay in place. So we told these subscribers that they have 24 hours to take advantage of this additional incentive. And now we want to wait 21 hours and just send them another follow-up email to simply let them know there's only 3 hours left to claim this offer. So the second email we're going to be sending with 3 hours left is all about just urgency to claim this offer. And this second email can have conversion rates of up to 15% as well. That's really it. It's as simple as those 2 emails and that 1 time delay in place. If you want to optimize this to drive even higher conversion rates, here's 3 things that you can do. Number 1, you can include dynamic codes. So by offering a dynamic code instead of a static code, it does feel like it's more limited in nature and more exclusive. Number 2, at the beginning of the flow, you can set up conditional splits to actually test the offer, which I highly suggest you do. So if your welcome offer is 10%, you can test 15% versus 20%. And this will get you to really just identify and understand if price is the hesitation for a lot of prospects that aren't placing their first order, which it is for most brands. What will make the biggest incremental revenue difference? Is it offering an additional 5% or an additional 10%? And what you might find is, yes, you're giving additional margin away, but the net revenue that you're able to pull in from that additional discount can actually be really significant for the right brands. And finally, add in SMS. This is an amazing opportunity to drive your customer acquisition cost down and convert these prospects into first-time purchasers before they just completely lapse. So you want to make sure that you're getting this offer in front of them. And if someone did sign up for SMS marketing in your pop-up form, you should absolutely absolutely include SMS in this flow in the exact same order, same time delays, to make sure you're getting the offer in front of them. Now, in this video, I really only owned in on one flow just because of how strong it is to convert new prospects and drive your customer acquisition costs down. But at the end of the day, obviously one single flow isn't enough to carry your entire email marketing setup, especially when we talked about in the prerequisites. You need a strong welcome flow and a strong abandoned cart flow in place. So click here to check out the next video to learn absolutely everything you need to know about flows of all kinds so that you can use the same information for yourself to help make way more money with your e-com brand almost instantly. If you're interested in growing your e-commerce brand, I'll see you in the next one.